Hello, I'm Andy, and today I want to share a fun and influential build order for Hausa. So, do I call it influential build order? Because it uses the influential or the influence resource to get out natives and mercenaries, but usually mainly natives. And then we are going for a fast industrial and using those natives to hopefully beat the enemy. And the idea about this build order is that the units get auto upgraded, so they are very strong, and you can get a very good timing with it, and you can get a lot of natives, and it's just a very fun build order. It maybe is a bit random sometimes, but I mean, that's what it is. That's what I like about this game. I'm just trying to have fun, and it can be strong, it can feel pretty overwhelming, overpowered, but it can also fall flat on its face. So it's probably not a build order I would use in a tournament setting or something, except if maybe the map is really good or something. But yeah, it's fun, and that's the most important thing. So let's get into it and let's talk about it. So at the start, what you want to do is on livestock maps, you want to get as many cows as possible. That's something you always want to do as African civs, because they just boost everything. They give you influence. You can trade them. They are just very good. So for this, on Texas specifically, I sent this livestock market wagon to explore a bit and to maybe find one or two cows. I think it's worth it, but you cannot go too far with it, and you cannot overdo it, because eventually you need to sell your cow to get a house, and you also want to get the hunting upgrade. So how this typically works in H1 is you want to get as many cows as possible, and if there are no cows, then you want to find food and wood treasures, and before you have your first shipment, experience is also very good. And yeah, you want to use your cow, you want to sell your cow once you can get 150 wood with it, and with the 150 wood you can get the first hunting upgrade and you can build a house. Typically H1 for me also means that I age up with 15 villagers, and I sell my second cow as soon as I can build a trading post. And yeah, this depends on how many treasures you get, but typically you can get the trading post at around 230 to 330 or something. So yeah, so you should always be able to get you will always be able to get a trading post. Sometimes just a bit later. Then for the H-up, what I find works best is to use the Berber allies. The Berber allies, with these you can do these camels, and the camels are very good against Cav. So France specifically often goes for a very early edge up, and they do some hussars, and at least the hussars you can defend with the camels very well. The camels, they just eat the hussars, and then you are happy. Yeah, but sometimes if you're playing maybe against Russia or something, who will spam a lot of infantry or Haudenosaunee or Aztecs, then it might also be worth it to pick the Akan allies, because they have musketeers, and maybe you need to stabilize in H2. So yeah, but normally if someone is not going all in, or I'm not expecting like super aggression, I usually go for the camels. This also has the advantage that I can get the Berber nomads, which boost the economy quite significantly. Yeah, during H-up, what I want to do is I want to first get a bit of wood. So I want to, during my H-up, I want to get a trading post, and I want to get a university. Usually you can always get a university, or on most maps you can get a university between trading post from the trading route and UTC, or between the trading post from the native village and UTC. So this means like the university is producing more influence if it's built close to a trading post. Yeah. But if it's not possible, don't worry too much. It's not too influential, how I would like to say. Yeah, and here are already the Hausas. They hit a bit early. Luckily, I could still get university out. For the moment, I still have to just, yeah, go into my TC. Like, watch these jukes here. Oh man, these Hausas, they're really sad. Did you see this? That was very satisfying in the moment. So yeah. So oftentimes I go for camels, but I felt like with these Apaches, they might prove to be a bit more useful. You maybe cannot raid this well, but you can kill the cav a bit faster. So yeah, I usually get these Apaches. And for H2, what you always want to do is you want to get the Palace of Amina. With the Palace of Amina, you can get a palace, and this palace oftentimes, like if the enemies are seeing this palace, they are usually turned off from H2 aggression. I think it's beatable if they're going for like a lot of infantry, then you can break this down, but you need a lot of investment. So most people typically don't do it, and they would need to, you know, do a very aggressive and all-in-ish playstyle, or they need to realize. Oftentimes, this is just enough to defect these enemies. And the other advantage is that the palace is giving influence to the university. So this university is giving you quite some influence and enough to, yeah, I mean enough to get some units out. Yeah, as I said, because I wasn't expecting too much more pressure because he started with Hassas. I didn't expect him to go for like a barracks and, you know, for musketeers to immediately punish me. So I went for more villagers, like these Berber nomads, and they are boosting your economy quite a bit. Usually what you also want to do is you want to send these 700 influence and 600 influence. Immediately I kind of forgot it, and you want to go to the next age. Also you want to use all your villagers to gather coin and food. What I typically also get is the second market upgrade for the food at least. And yeah, don't be scared to exchange your livestock for coin if you need a faster age up, or for wood. It's not too influential, like these 0.15 influence is really only very minor. So it's oftentimes better to get faster to the next stage. So, and with the Apaches and with the camels, you can also go raid. That's what I typically do. In this game, because I realized I kind of forgot my 600 influence to send, so I thought, okay, if I can just wait until I'm in the next age, then I can get 1,000 influence, and that's a lot more useful. Yeah, so yeah, but for the third age, I always go for the Atoni allies, so these muskets, or if I've started with the Atoni allies for H2, I will go with the Berber allies. So in H3 you always have the option for these two natives. And yeah, typically I also get out these units from the native trading post, and I just get some units. Like the good thing is that you're not really wasting resources if you do this, because they get auto upgraded, and they will always be kind of useful. I mean, not against skirmishers, but like it's always, it almost never hurts to have these kind of units out. But it also depends on the map. I think this build order works best on maps where you have ranged infantry. So like Kree is very, very good. And also, I hate that I sometimes pick my griots and attack with them. Like range is like where you have ranged infantry, your musketeers is very good because the Berber allies, like the melee infantry is, the melee cavalry is very good. And yeah, this works out best. But range cav is also not too bad. I think the worst unit type you can get is like the melee infantry trading post. If you're getting a melee infantry trading post, then then I don't know if I'm unsure if you should really go for this build, because then you sometimes are just in a world of hurt. I don't know. Maybe it depends. Like if someone is rushing and you have the melee infantry, then you cannot really use it to defend. But melee infantry then maybe gets very good or becomes very good once you hit H4, because then you can really turn down or kill buildings very fast, which now I cannot really do. And yeah, now I'm waiting for my Berber camels, and I don't expect him to have too much. So I just run in with my units, kill the cannons, and then this pushes over. Kind of trade out all the cav. And then what is he going to do with his skirmisher? He cannot really kill this 4 with these skirmishers. So yeah. Maybe I should have also used these Akan, but I'm really... yeah, I don't find them too good, but they're musketeers. They're okay enough. So yeah. So I'm just getting ready for my H4. I defended a push. I still have some units. I'm ready to go to H4. I'm also getting another trading post. If you wouldn't put me under this much pressure, I would also try to get this trading post. And ideally you want to also at some point get the stagecoach and get these influence trickle a bit higher. I also, like if you defend a push, I think it's always worth it to repair this building. It's so good, it gives you a lot of influence, and it also it's just a very good defensive building to defend against pushes. And if you lose it, you also, or I always rebuild it. Yeah. So for the moment, I'm just waiting for the H-up. In the meantime, I also got the Gia Emirate. And because you really also have a decent economy, like a non-influence economy, you also can start building some normal units. I like to get this card to get the upgrades in the war camp, basically for very cheap. And yeah, and then with these cheap upgrades, I start to produce. Usually, I will always produce Lifty Knights. That's what I typically do, and just add Lifty Knights. And yeah, maybe I should have forced the engagement there. Yeah, but now definitely I can take the engagement. I was waiting for my H4. No need to be greedy. Yeah, because now all my natives are guard level. They're just quite a bit stronger. And so this cleanup is just this tiny bit more cost efficient. Yeah. So yeah, in H4 you have now access to the Yoruba allies. They give you also 1000 influence, which is a nice boost. And from here on out, all you really want to do is send 1600 influence and 1000 influence. And you just want to push out all the natives you can get. So in this case, I get my range cav. And I also get the Yoruba allies, which are also musketeer type units. And eventually I also get the Akan and Kobia. And the Yoruba also have the Lancer type units, which are very powerful, I think. And at this point, I think once you get some decent army out, you should start to pressure the map, because now you are really in a good position. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just waiting for these 1600 influence, and then I'm getting out these units. You can also produce a lot of units at the same time because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 production buildings. And yeah, on this map, it's a bit more difficult to push because you have ranged cav, and they are not very good with pushing. And so maybe I also should have they have this upgrade so you are able to produce falconets. I think this is also worth it to get. Yeah, so this would have helped me tremendously in this game, I think. And also what's kind of difficult about this build order though is that the micro is very, very difficult because you have a lot of different type of units. And so what often happens for me is I kind of just move everything into the enemy, which is not the best way on how to do things. So I mean, this time it works, but I feel like this has a lot of micro potential, and also a lot of micro what's the opposite of potential? But it's very easy to just not micro correctly with these amount of different units. Because as you see, I had like Apaches, I had some Musketeers, I had 2 types of melee cav, and yeah. So that's one thing which is kind of hard to do. And yeah, I think at this point, if I play a bit better, if I play a bit more flawlessly, I should be able to finish this game. Right there and now, but the enemy is playing decent, I think. So I just go back and I cleaned up the army, so it's fine. But what I really want to do is get the map control here, put him off these Huns, and yeah, but these units are just not. They're just not the. It's just not the easiest thing to micro. Here now I got these Yoruba ISO riders. They are losing HP all the time, so they're kind of like militia, but they do eat infantry and they can take a lot of damage. And yeah, now I cleaned him up again, but he has a very good micro. He has very good Dragoon and Skirmisher micro, so I cannot really capitalize. I also kind of get stuck here. I also have this one Yoruba, which makes everything slow for me, which is annoying. Yeah, so it's not really the best trade I took here. Do they have more range? Actually, it feels like Dragoons have more range, but they actually don't have more range than the range cuff. Yeah, so as I said, I think if I added here falconets, then my life would have been a lot easier. And I also really should have punished like this here. Or this here. Because I think I really played a bit too defensive. His hit and run was good enough to discourage me from going further, but I really should have put on more pressure and not, let him come back after these 2. I think these trades still were decent, all things considered. Yeah, he's now going to raid, but shouldn't do too much. Yeah. And eventually I'm just going to speed this up. Because really the build order is kind of over and you have to improvise anyway. At this point I'm also just always sending influence. As I said, this is really all you want to do. Get influence, get up your economy, maybe transition to some conventional stuff, like to more of these War Hunter units, to these Fulani archers, for example. Also add some cannons. At this point, what I realized I'm very glad about this card actually is the Gatling guns, Gatling camels. that I have this in my deck. So with these Gatling Camels, they can do quite a lot of damage to infantry and stuff. Yeah. So I'm actually glad that he went back, because I think his army was better than mine at this point. But yeah. Yeah, let's quickly talk about the deck. So I think with this kind of playstyle, like the essential cards for this playstyle are the 3 villagers, which you have in a deck anyway. This card is very good. And then all you really need for this build order, like deck-wise, is the 700 influence. The 600 is kind of optional. But I think it's almost always worth it. And then you only need like these 3 influence cards. And the rest you can kind of do what you like. I think with these Sudanese allies, they are very good at defending. So I really like them. So yeah, so you can do this playstyle even without committing too much for the deck. So you can kind of decide on the spot if you want to do this. Yeah, and just add in these natives as much as you can. I'm just really bad at dealing with his dragoons, it feels like. Yeah, and at this point, what I had to do is like get more economy out, like more of these universities, maybe a TC, take back this. And yeah. Also, what kind of defeats this build order? I think I had problems. I can remember I played this for like 2 days, and I think against the Japanese, who's kind of booming a bit and is going for Ashigaru Naginata, he just beat me straight up. I lost to some very aggressive build orders who just go for a lot of musketeers at the start. That can be difficult on some maps to defend, and just, you know, siege down this and go for the TC and get a good timing. Yeah, but other than that, I think it works out decently. So it seems competitively viable, at least to me. I mean, maybe someone has to, or on some maps it seems to be competitively viable if there are good natives. So for example, Cherokee or Cree. Cheyenne I also find very good. Maybe all these European allies, they always all seem to be very good, especially those who benefit from promotions. So that's something to consider, but on every map with this build order, you might have difficulties, you might get punished by someone who will just beat you with a you know, more streamlined build order. Yeah, so, but now we are waiting for the camels. I was expecting him to go to the next age, because he was playing a bit more defensive, and that indicates that he's saving up resources to, yeah, go to the next age. So that's why I thought, yeah, I have to push now before all his upgrades kick in. So I'm getting on the map, I'm getting my Gatling camels, and I'm just trying to finish it here and there then. Yeah, as I said, I think Falconets would have been a similar good choice. I mean, these Gatling camels, they eat a lot of units very fast. But they're also short range, they only have 14 range. Excuse me. So they get outranged by basically everything, and you have to go in melee range to do, and then they have a lot of modifiers against them. So they are really like a glass cannon. But they are fun, so, and they just eat these skirmishers, so that's very good. I mean, I'm complaining too much about these Gatling camels, but I feel like they eat everything here, so yeah. I probably shouldn't have complained too much about them. Yeah, and also what's also a really good card, I didn't send it actually in this game, I think these Sahelian Kingdoms. If you have to choose between this card, and this card, I would almost always pick this card. Because for this you need to spend like 6,000 influence until this card becomes better than this. So I don't think it's realistic. It's sometimes a bit slow. So yeah, and this is just more stats for all your units, which is very good. So yeah, all in all, I think this build order is very fun. I think the way this version of the build order I just presented to you seems to be the most stable and the most, how do I say, the most powerful. So I think you can at least try it. I think it's a very fun anyway, because you're throwing a lot of different shit at your enemy. Like all these natives. A lot of people don't even know what they are all doing and what the strengths are of these. And it's like a very chaotic fight. And some people will just don't know how to micro against it. And don't know how to react against it. So that's upside. It just feels very satisfying, especially with these Sudanese allies. It just feels very satisfying to get these engagements and just clean up the army. And it's also for me, even for me, and I play this game since a very long time, I'm not always sure who wins a battle just by looking at the armies. So that's something which I find interesting and fun about this build order. So yeah, a very fun influence build order. You can try it out and maybe tell me in the comments how it went for you. What are your thoughts on how to optimize this? And maybe someone with 200 or 500 more elo than me can try this against some good people, or like against some pros, like Soldier or something, to see if it's really viable, or if it maybe falls flat. I don't know. But for the average people, or for the average player, I think it's a fun build order, and it has potential. And the main thing why it has potential is because, yeah, the auto upgrades basically. Like these auto upgrades for all the natives is just very strong, and the natives don't take space, so you don't need to invest too much resources into your infrastructure than for other builds. So you are kind of cheaping out on a lot of stuff which you usually need. So that's also like these are the things which makes them very good. So yeah, very fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys around. Bye bye.